When did you know, though, that because you are a multi-creative, when did you know that music was going to be the main vehicle for you to express what you are?
And I guess it kind of came in stages. When I was a kid and saw my stepdad play with his friends and touched me really deeply, I knew then that this was absolute magic and that anything was possible. And I was like 7 years old then, where I was really just, leveled and in awe and enthralled by this thing. And I got the whole thing at that moment. And like, this is actual magic. And I mean, as magic as anything, like is God creating the earth, as someone making an oak tree disappear or turn into an ant. But when I knew that it would be my life, I think like junior high school, like seventh grade, something like that. I never thought that I would play rock music, that's for sure. I didn't think that until it happened. I thought that I would play trumpet and play jazz, play in a symphony orchestra or something. I didn't know that I'd be a rock guy.
Actually, I love that piece, you guys. When you do know what comes out of you, like at that stage of awakening, you know what's going to happen in terms of what you can hollow out the fastest with and what comes through you the most. You kind of want to do it over and over again. But what's amazing to me is how you can never plan what the outcome is going to look like. Never, never, never. You don't know what it'll look like. All you know you can do is show up.
The great thing about being alive, right?
Yes.
Like the wanting to be in the moment and shine your light as bright as you can and let the chips fall where they may.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. That's the great thing we get. We get to have that mystery unfold before us.
If you look at it from that vantage point, there's no such thing as failure. All your failures are just like that moment didn't open up, but the very energy you put into it by showing up, it's going to spark somewhere else. I love that reality in the bigger picture.
Yeah, and sometimes the most humiliating failure makes you go somewhere else.
Yes. Yeah.
Even if it's in a sad and mournful way, it can be, a really meaningful way to break into something that you realize that, okay, that sad failure, maybe it wasn't the place for me to go. And it's not that I failed, it was just the wrong place for me to be.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
This is just reminding me of the whole thing that we've been talking about what you are versus who you are. And I just love that so much because, Mook, you are regarded probably as one of the greatest bass players in the world, but you don't consider yourself that way. And there's been so many times where you go and you'll play with somebody else and you'll just be in awe at them because you know that they're so much better than you, maybe from a technical standpoint. But I think what's so interesting is that it's not just about how good you are. I mean, obviously you are really good, but I think what makes you you is the what you are that's coming through when you play the bass. And I'm just wondering if you have any idea what that is. If you weren't a musician, could you describe what you are outside of what you do in the world? I'm also just curious how you sustain that daily from a spiritual or an emotional or a mental standpoint, because you do have to sustain the what part so that you can be who you are in the world.
Kind of what I said, started this conversation with that same thing of trying to live a life where I'm able to channel as much energy as I can and to keep everything open and available and coming from a place of yearning to be in the moment and yearning to just live a way that lets light come through. And as it relates to who I am in the world and what I do in the world, obviously I would hope that anything that I did, whether I was a plumber or a rice and beans cook or a soccer goalie, that I would use whatever I was doing as a means to shine light and to try to make the world a better place, whatever small way that I could. And it's for me as a bass player, there are a lot of bass players that are way better than me at lots of things, at maybe most things, but there's no one better than me at being me. That's what I'm good at as a musician, is I'm good at being me. I play like me. I have my rhythm. I have my sense of things. I have my restraints because of my ignorance and my laziness. I have my strengths because of my diligence and my focus and my deep desire to connect with whoever I'm playing with, whoever I'm playing for, to build music as a bridge of love. in that regard is too, as you know, like very humble in that way. Like I know there's a million, like, you know, Mono Neon, Thundercat, Marcus Miller, these guys are a million times better at playing electric bass than me. They have better rhythm, they have better sense of harmony, they're smarter, they're better, but they can't be me, like, because I can play like me. You know, I sit still with my feelings and my nervous system and my pain and my joy and my suffering and my sense of what's beautiful. It's me. Mm-hmm. I'm cool with that. But I'm also like, I want to get better. As you know, I have a bass lesson today. And I'm going to study and I'm going to learn and I'm going to do my best to try to get better.